welcome to the Morning Coffee Show. I'm Prince Hakeem.
I'm Amanda Love.
And today we'll be discussing what we talked about last week, trying to do a follow-up to it because I don't think that we actually got down to the bottom of what people want for real.
We didn't.
So today we're going to try to tie it all in. And hopefully
we're going to put it all together.
Yeah.
Put together the puzzle pieces.
There was a lot of people last week. We want to give a huge shout out to the Get On Power session and Casey and my man Ralph for coming on. Gave some good insight on the show. Now that we kind of can get together and bring it all together.
Bring the separate thoughts together.
Yeah. I don't think we'll figure out what men want and what women want, but we're at least going to give you at least a good direction in that, I would say.
Some attributes to look at.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because it's one of those conversations that you have to continue having because everyone's a little different.
Mm-hmm. So what did you think of the episode last week?
I enjoyed it. I think some things that were said was really personal beliefs and driven. Mm-hmm. Not a general thing. Mm-hmm. I think we got some good feedback when it came from the men's side. The women's side, I think you guys held back a little bit.
Probably. I look back at it, I was like, gosh, I was pretty quiet compared to my normal.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I was. But, sometimes when you get in a room full of people, I tend to I want to hear everybody's point of view.
Yeah.
So sometimes you get more into listening to everybody and kind of attributing that to what you're thinking and how you're feeling. And so I was listening and taking everything in. And since I considered that we were going to do this afterwards, I was like, I'll have a moment later.
Yeah, so today it's just that. We're going to kind of reflect a little bit back on the show from last week and give you some helpful hints and tips to get you started on a good, healthy direction in relationships. I think to understand a person, you really have to have a conversation with them, get a clear understanding of what they want for themselves and out of a relationship as well. Everyone's not in the same area as you may be. So you may be in the mindset of marriage, they may be in the mindset of just hanging out. And that's okay too.
Yeah, so last week we started off talking about attraction.
Yeah.
The initial meeting of somebody, the attraction, what it takes to kind of develop that attraction and what people are looking for.
Yeah.
And somebody did bring up the point at one point about where you are in your life and how that correlates to what you're looking for in the moment.
Yes.
And I think that was a really good point to bring out because it is different for everybody. Just like you just said, what I'm looking for at 20 is definitely different than what I'm looking for at 30, 35, or 40. And depending on your life experience, kids, there's so many other factors that go into what you want in the building of a relationship.
Right. I think people at the age of 30 especially feel pressure from society because society tells you about 25 to 30 you should be looking to really tie it down and lock it in and not really be out too wild and crazy. You should have a wife, a husband, some kids, a house. People kind of look at 30 as one of those milestones in life where certain things should be happening. But I'm here to tell you, it's not really that deep. You are in certain places of your life, especially in relationships, where whatever makes sense for you makes sense for you. But just realize everyone doesn't share the same values to that. So you might want to hang out and just kick it and watch Netflix. They're looking like, hey, we need to kind of figure out what we're doing with this these finances in this house, which is fine. Just know that you guys may not make it. So you may be thinking this is going to be cool and nice and whatever, but they're like, nah, I'm moving on to the next one because I don't have a lot of time to waste.
Well, and it's important to realize, just like you said, age is not really that important. Yeah. There's a stage for everybody in their life. And I think we pay attention in society so much to age that we pay less attention to just who we are in the moment and what that matches up with somebody else. Because it really doesn't matter how old you are. Maybe my values align with somebody who's 40 or 45 and I'm 35.
Right.
Or my values could align with somebody I just happen to meet that has experienced more, has done more things in their life, and they might be a guy who's 30. Yeah. I mean, there's no telling. Yeah. It's really about knowing yourself and developing yourself and meeting somebody who compliments you.
Yeah.
And some of the things we did make some points of last week were things more in reference to the character and quality of a person matching up with yours, rather than looking at like very specific things like what kind of car you drive or what kind of job you do, or those things are not, I don't think, as important as the character of the individual. But in a society, we tend to attribute those things to the quality of the person I'm dealing with.
Because in society, those things mean something. That means a status. When you have a car, a house, if you have a nice job, those things mean something in society, and people want to be associated with those things. Just understanding the type of person that you're looking for, how superficial you want them to be. We all are in some sense, but how superficial are you, and how superficial of the other person are you willing to accept? Because, you will want to be kind of ahead in life. You don't want to be kind of held back in this place of just kind of starting out 19 to 23. Like, you don't want to be in that range in your late 30s. You want to kind of see some progression. People want to see that you have a drive, at least some type of direction in life, responsibility, those type of things.
Exactly.
Makes a huge it makes a huge difference when it comes to meeting someone. But I had a conversation last night. I went to this event in Norfolk, and I had an opportunity to sit around and talk to a few women.
Okay.
I posed this question because it ties into our show from last week. I said, what do you want? And to my amazement, it took them a long time to really tell me.
But that goes back to what I said. It's about knowing yourself. And if you've never had, I think Rel brought it up in the conversation last week where he was talking about people not seeing that.
Right.
And not experience it. So it's easy for somebody to say, I want this person to love me, respect me. I want to have a happy, healthy relationship. But if I don't know what that looks like, I will never point it out. I'll just have this imaginary perspective of what it may be. And that goes back to people like knowing themselves, understanding themselves, learning how to communicate, and establishing a foundation of who I am within myself.
Right.
And what I want for myself in a relationship.
Being realistic too. So you can't ask for things that just doesn't even make sense.
Nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect. Not one man or female, woman is going to have every single thing that you can imagine on your list. We think of these Barbie and Ken dolls where we can make them to be anything we want them to be. They can be tall, they can be thin, they can be busty, they can be happy, they can be intelligent, they can have tons of money. And I think that's an unrealistic thing. You have to find out what gels for you and what you can build with. I think relationships are healthy when you can build together. I'm not saying if you already have a lot of things together in order that you can't build with someone, but when you're building it together, it's so much different, it feels so much different because you both can appreciate where you are. But when I ask, like, what do you want? If you own a business, because a relationship is kind of like a business, or if you're in any type of professional setting, if you know what you want out of a job, if you know what you want out of your business, it's kind of the same thing.
It's an investment.
You can't walk into a relationship with no plan.
There's an investment. Yeah. It's definitely an investment.
So why would you walk into a relationship with no plan?
You should. I don't think you always plan for everything, but you should have some sort of, this is what I'm trying to gain from this circumstance.
Right.
The things we printed up, I know you guys see like papers. These are like
research.
But even it is research. But even in this is like, we printed up things about what men want, what women want, and I did a lot of looking around in different areas. And to be honest, even in finding these things, none of these are specific, like superficial qualities that people have. These are like very general things that build over time. Things as far as like the character of an individual, like we were talking about last week. Some of them are things that and I was just telling you before we started, I looked at the things men want and the things that women want, and I'm like, a lot of them are really similar. Yeah. Because they're literally just about being positive, having a good sense of humor, having communication skills, being social, being able to introduce this person to your friends and family, and knowing that they're going to interact well, and knowing that this is not somebody you're going to be embarrassed to be around, having somebody that's ambitious. All those things are qualities that I would want anybody that I'm interacting with to have.
Right, but I think some of these things are not realistic either. So,
Really?
some women don't want a social guy because then they say, well, why are you always flirting?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you always in somebody's face?
But that's somebody that's insecure.
Right, but so, exactly. So I don't think this will pertain to everyone. If you know that you're that type of woman.
And that comes with being honest about, just like we said, knowing yourself, being honest about things that you still have personal work.
Right.
And you still have to work on yourself, and understanding that isn't the type of person you can deal with.
And stop trying to lock them in. Like, women, men, ladies, guys, please. Don't try to lock a person down that you know for real is not going to work for you. If you know there are social butterflies and you can't deal with that because they're always out and about and having people in their face, don't try to lock them down and change them. That's the worst thing you can do to a person that's social.
They're going to end up not liking you very much.
Yeah.
They're going to be resentful and nasty.
Oh, yeah.
So don't do it.
Then, yeah, they're going to say some things to you and they're going to like. Can we jump into some of these?
Sure.
All right. So we have, which one do you want to talk about first?
I'll do this one first. These are 15 points. I don't think we'll go over all 15, but that women want in most men. Like, so, independence is one of them.
Okay. I would agree. I don't think that's unrealistic.
It is not unrealistic.
Because,
again, I'm going to say like how we were talking about earlier. It depends on the woman. Because some women like saving a man.
Who?
Now.
What kind of women do you know that want to save a man?
Exactly. We were just talking about that insecure. Like, I want to feel needed. I want to feel like he wants me there. I want to feel like I can do some work on him and I can feel responsible for that work. Don't tell me you don't know women like that. Will they admit it? No, not always.
They want to work on a man. I think if you want to help build with a man and build a man to something beyond what he is.
Don't tell me you don't know women.
But when
like
you say like, I don't want you to be independent, I want you to rely on me.
I didn't say that. I didn't say
I'm just saying,
I'm saying
I know that.
I've seen women like that.
I'm just addressing it. When you have a woman that says that I don't want an independent man, I want you to rely on me for everything.
No, I don't want you to rely on me for everything. But I've seen women where it's almost like it's a secret. It's like, I want you to have some dependence on me so I can feel like I'm needed.
I think that's everyone. That's everyone. Men wants that. They want that too. Women want it in a sense of, let me feel, like you said, needed, in a sense of, let me do that for you. That's my job for you. Mm-hmm. When you say independence here, I'm thinking like he has the freedom to make his own decisions. When you say, I don't want you to have much independence.
This is written in a way where it's talking about like, you can stand on your own without me and I can stand on my own without you.
Right.
Yeah, and it should be that way. Absolutely.
I can make my own decisions. I don't need you to make the decision.
I don't need you to like be here to like hold me up.
I want to be able to depend on you. Absolutely. If you me depend on you,
but that's something different.
Things,
that's not independence. That's reliability. That's a character trait.
So,
I want to trust that you can do the things I'm asking you to do. I want you to be reliable and dependable. That's something different than being independent.
Well, when you said that some women want a guy that doesn't have that much independence, that becomes a dependency. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it becomes a dependency. I'm okay if I feel like I have to depend on you for something, but I'm completely independent. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't need you to tell me to go brush my teeth, brush my hair, pay my bills, walk the dog. I don't need you to tell me, to go to work, find a good job. You don't need to tell me that stuff.
Mm-hmm. But there are some men who need that.
Oh my God! Once again, we go back to the man versus boy. It's a completely different thing.
Okay. So the next one.
Okay.
Positivity.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah, I think that goes in there. Like it basically says every woman wants a man who can put a smile on her face or make things look up when it's a bad day. Yeah. I think that should go without saying. Like,
does it all the time? Maybe not. But it should.
But it should.
You should always have a positive woman too. I have to kind of spin it around.
Exactly. And that's why I said a lot of these qualities are like specifically written, like these are things that one versus the other like want. But I don't really think, because they're character traits of a person, I don't think these are like specific to women or men. I think these are just qualities that people that you are interested in and planning on investing in a relationship, or I look at relationships more of a partnership.
Right.
They should have those qualities.
Absolutely.
Because these are things like we should not have to address constantly. Not all of them, because obviously people are not, I don't think people are always going to have all of these things. But in building a relationship, they should be things that are being built upon.
These two things, guys, automatic. You have to be
independent and positive. We shouldn't have to talk about these things. So the next one is communication skills.
Constantly working on it. Should be always working on this part. Ladies, and be realistic with yourself. This shouldn't even be on the list. This shouldn't be on the list.
Why?
I'm sorry, I don't agree with that.
This should be on every list.
The reason why I say, because that's a constant thing. Like, we're constantly working on it.
But you know, I talk about communication, like.
But there's different ways of communication. We talked about that.
Yes.
So what I'm saying
I talk about communication constantly.
She's an over communicator.
I am an over communicator, but I think the good in that is sometimes like, yes, I talk too much, or I might keep getting back to something like, hey, remember when I said this? And it's not always an I told you so.
Right.
But it's like, I asked you about this, or I expressed that this was a concern of mine, and it's important that somebody can never say, oh, I didn't know.
No, that's true.
Or I will never look at somebody and say, oh, well, you should have known by how I acted. You don't have to know by how I act, because I will tell you.
That's true.
And sometimes that's so important, because people think like, oh, if I act like I love you, or I act like I care, you should know automatically. There's no way for me to know.
That's legit.
Because I can't assume. What happens when you assume? You make an ass out of yourself. Like, I can't assume that because you're doing certain things, you're invested a certain way.
Yeah, that's true. But when I say with communication, it's one of those things you're constantly working on, like time management. You will never get a hold of time management. So with communication, you're always developing that skill. So the reason I said I don't think it should be on this list is because if you say you have to have this quality in order to have a successful relationship with me, communication should be one of those unsaid things. Mm-hmm. You have to. Like, it's kind of like waking up in the morning. You have to communicate. But when you make it as like a thing, like, you have to communicate with me. Like, oh, no. Mm-hmm. I don't have to communicate with you. I'm going to communicate with you. It's an automatic.
Yeah.
And we're going to work on it, because the way I'm communicating with you right now may not be the best way to communicate, but we're going to work it out.
Yeah, definitely. So last week during that session, we had some points being made about stages of life, where I am right now, whether or not me and this person, whoever that may be, are compatible, what I'm looking for versus what they're looking for. Somebody said, I think at some point, like, don't tell them if they're asking what you're looking for in a man. You shouldn't be telling them, because if you tell them, then they could just model that for, a little while and then be who they really are.
Yeah.
But I do think there's some leverage to that comment, because, yeah, I shouldn't have to tell you every step of what I want. But at the same time, there are things that are pretty self-explanatory when it comes to who you are. And like you said, you don't have to say anything, and that's communication.
Yeah.
If I tell you, hey, let's get here at this time, or hey, can you do this for me? And you're always there, or you always make it happen, then you're a reliable person. And that's something about me communicating that with you, you doing it, that in that exchange, we're communicating.
Right.
You're communicating the fact that what I said or what I did or what I asked for was important. And you're validating that me requesting it is okay and I can rely on you.
Yeah.
But sometimes people don't see it that way. They see it as like, oh, well, I like you, or I care. I just messed up that one time.
Yeah.
And it becomes like continuously missing each other. And that's somebody that just doesn't have the same level of communication skills that you do.
Right, and I don't think that everyone can communicate to get. I mean, in that sense of not just your level, but some people aren't in that frequency with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not going to be able to communicate with that person at all.
Mm-hmm.
Just know when that's happening. Just acknowledge it and walk away.
Mm-hmm.
Because the more you try to force it, the worse it's going to get.
And there are a lot of people that I think were raised, we're a certain age where when we were kids, our parents communicated with us in a way that was like, you know better. I shouldn't have to tell you. Because you're supposed to do X, Y, Z. Or you're my mom. I shouldn't have to ask whether or not my mom loves me. It just is because they're my mom.
Yeah.
And that's an era that we grew up, a generation of people that think they don't owe anybody an explanation, a verbal explanation of something. Yeah. So they walk around thinking, well, I don't necessarily have to say that I love you or I care or this is important to you, so it's important to me, or validating how somebody else feels because they think, well, it is what it is, and they should already know.
How many times have you heard someone say this? You know I care about you, right? You know I love you. If I didn't, I wouldn't be here.
Your being here is not a demonstration of love.
Of love. It's just, it can be out of obligation.
It's just that you being here.
Yeah, you just being here. It can be out of obligation. You felt obligated to be here. It doesn't mean that you love me or you care about me. That's not a clear way
indication.
Or clear way to communicate that. So
and a lot of people think that because, like you said, because they stay, that it shouldn't even be a question, right? While the other person is sitting there going, maybe they're just here because of the investment.
Right.
What if we live together? I'm thinking you staying because we live together. If you leave, you gotta pay your own rent.
We got bills on bills.
Yeah. Or, what if we're in a partnership, with a business? Or there are so many factors where people have seen other people stay together simply because of what's invested in that relationship. Yeah. So you not saying something, there's a good possibility that a good person goes by because you didn't articulate, this is really how I feel about you. Yeah. Or this is the level of respect and value I place on this relationship. Yeah. Because if somebody doesn't know or you don't say it, it's not, nobody's mind reading. As much as we would like to believe that what we do and how we act is a, demonstration of our love or care or investment in something, when you don't say it and it's not like out there clearly written, somebody might be missing it. Yeah. What, good or bad. It doesn't necessarily have to be a display of love and affection. It could be, you may be doing something I don't like. And me having an attitude or sucking my teeth and stomping by you is not necessarily me telling you I don't like something. They could just be looking at me going, oh, she had a bad day.
Oh, yeah. She's always like that. She always got an attitude.
So
no, bro.
It's you.
It's you.
You did something that pissed me off.
You forgot her whole birthday, bro. Like the whole day went by.
Like nothing. I got off work at 8:00. I called you, told you I was on the way home. You could have had dinner ready.
I mean, a cupcake.
Something. But no, I come in the house, no food, kids running crazy, like house is dirty. You're laying on the couch watching Netflix.
Well, you ain't look, and didn't even take a bath. You didn't take a shower.
You on my couch in your work clothes, or better yet, in my bed in the work clothes. Like.
Side note, that's disgusting.
Side note.
Take them off.
Do not get in the bed with your outside clothes. That is so disgusting.
Your outside clothes.
Yeah, outside clothes. Like you're a little kid.
Your outside clothes means the clothes you wore all day.
Look, if you're in the bed, you need to be in pajamas. Or nothing. Or naked. Whatever your preference is. But if you're in the bed, it should be bed attire.
Naked.
Specific for the house. Just have people have house shoes. Like, have bed clothes. Or none.
Or none.
Don't get in my bed with outside clothes.
Oh, if you get in the bed naked, make sure you wash.
Oh, God.
Like, wash first.
Take a bath.
Please. I know some of y'all will be like, wait, but I took the clothes off.
No.
No. If that's outside dirt still.
If your body is not clean,
don't get in the bed.
It's just like getting in the bed with outside clothes.
It's actually worse.
Now I got bodily fluid.
Crap. Crumbs. Anyway, what's the next one? That was kind of nasty.
That was gross. So
somebody need to hear that.
Yes, that was specific. That was like God gave us a present and said, make sure you add this in there. So somebody needed to hear that because that wasn't in the plan. So that was special, just for you.
Just for you today.
Just for you today. Take off your outside clothes.
Wash the outside off.
And let's just piggyback on that and say, if you work in a job where you get dirty, clothes come off as soon as you get. Do not pass go. Don't sit on the couch. Don't play with the kids. Don't pet the dog unless you're taking them for a walk. Them clothes need to come off and go straight to the laundry.
I totally agree. If you work in a hospital, strip down
at the door
in the foyer, like everything comes off, and put it in the bag.
Yeah, it's nasty.
You're welcome.
Don't do that.
Y'all wouldn't think as a leader. Trust me. You're welcome.
Don't do that. Anyway, so the next one is intelligence. That was me last week.
Questionable. That's questionable.
That was me last week. We said, do they need to be intelligent? I said they need to have some brains. They need to have something.
That's questionable.
I need you to be. Yeah,
that's you. But that's you.
It is questionable.
Because you can't be dumb and ask for a smart man.
That's true.
And you can't be a dumb guy and ask for a smart woman.
So here we go again. This is all based on the fact that you are realistic in your expectations, realistic about who you are and what your level of capability is. And I'm a firm believer in staffing weaknesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not that brilliant and you want a really smart guy, I get it. Make sure that smart guy is willing to have somebody who's not that smart. Let's not pretend that we're brilliant and then he find out he got a big dummy. Like,
that's a real thing.
Let him be okay with the fact that I have a pretty dumb girlfriend. If he's okay, there are men out there who don't care about women being smart. Find that guy. Don't pretend to be smart for a smart guy and then he find out you're stupid. Because he'll be upset. And you won't have a guy no more.
Pretend to be smart?
Oh, it's possible.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's smart if you're able to pretend to be smart. That's a level of intelligence, I think.
I mean, some people are more like just creative and smart in a different way. They don't have to be necessarily like intellectual, like book smart. They could just be very strategic.
And that's what I'm saying with intelligence. Kind of go into a little bit real quick. So to your point, there's different ways to be intelligent.
Absolutely.
Because I may not know anything about one topic, but I know everything about another. Mm-hmm. But to you, you may like, you're not smart because you don't know this. But I know way more about this than you do. So
it's about finding what works for you. Like,
okay.
Does that make sense?
I guess.
No?
I'm just trying to understand. Because if you're a doctor, but you're dating someone that's not in the medical field, you can't make them feel stupid for not knowing some of that terminology and how those things work. They just don't flow in that lane. Now, if you say an intelligence like IQ level, I get it.
I think it depends on the person. I cannot, and so this is going to sound like I'm like conceited.
I already see where this is going. Go ahead.
I can't expect every man I meet to be, I can't expect his intellectual capability to be at the same level of mine as mine is. I can't. Or my pool goes down. Way down. Is that hard?
That was really bad.
It is?
That was bad, yeah. Yeah. No, because the thing is, where you are with that in your education level, that's something that you pursued on your own. That's your thing is for you. You're right. You can never expect someone to be.
How many men are running around with master's degrees?
But you gotta understand, there's men that's running around without a master's degree that
That
is way smarter
brilliant.
than you.
Absolutely. I believe that.
So when you can't match up a piece of paper
that's
and
exactly
say, hey,
what I'm saying. I can't expect every man that I meet to come to the table saying I have a master's degree.
No.
I can't expect that.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to
So
say
this
the
is
intelligence. The intelligence are you proficient in something? Like, are you proficient in something that I can sit and talk to you and you can tell me something I don't know?
Are you proficient in something and compatible with me? Because what you might be proficient in may not match up with me, my personality.
So somebody like Bubba Gump, Bubba from the movie, right?
I got
Bubba knew everything about shrimp.
He's super smart.
He was like a scientist with that. Now, to some people, they say he's still stupid, right? But you can't get in a conversation with him and tell him anything about shrimp. You'll feel stupid because he's like, oh, I didn't even know that you can even do that with shrimp. Or they even come from there. It's different species. And to him, he has a master's in that because he spent over X amount of hours knowing that, studying that, and he's smart in that.
Absolutely.
But then you have somebody that's like intelligent in a different way because they study something completely different. I just think it's subjective. You don't know.
It definitely is subjective. I'm not saying that there's one specific way to go about this. And this is why last week when we were talking about it, I kind of said afterwards, like, you have to find somebody that matches your design and not your desire.
Yes.
Because this could go a million different ways, right? You could have some people that run around going like, I want your IQ to be whatever.
Yeah.
Or I just want to feel a challenge. Like, I want to be able to carry a conversation with you and walk away thinking, that was interesting. Like, that person made me think.
Yeah.
I don't need you to have a master's degree.
Just challenge me.
I just need to make sure there's some sort of challenge in some way. But that's me. Like, when we stopped recording and had our little side conversations after last week, I realized that more than anything is like what I want in a man is something totally, unique to me, right? Personally. Everybody wants something different. Some people want somebody who is naturally aligned with them, possibly has the same personality, likes the same things, and it all matches up together. And it's easy for us to be around each other because we favor the same things, we're interested in the same things, so we carry on like easy conversations. I don't want that. I want somebody who, like, every time they open their mouth and talk about something, I'm like, I didn't know that. Or that's just not something I'm into, so I had no clue that it was even that interesting. Like, I want you to spark my interest every time you open your mouth. And it doesn't have to be like that 24/7, but something about that person has to be captivating for me.
Yeah.
But like I said, that's me. Everybody's not like that.
I mean, to your point, find somebody of your own design that is gonna like match in that. So your energy, your level of interest, all that stuff, I think will be a good starting point. Everything else will work itself out.
So the next one, passion. So this says, don't be afraid to show your interests. A woman wants a man who she knows feels strongly about her and proves it every day. Don't play it cool when you found a keeper. Show her how you feel and let her know that she can do the same. I wholeheartedly agree. Now, I think it's important to, again, communicate, ask questions if you need to, or because sometimes we're pursuing people who don't want to be pursued.
Can I touch on that real quick?
Please do.
Another conversation I had the other day about pursuit. You gotta know what you're pursuing. Even police officers pursue a suspect because of a certain reason. If you're in a pursuit of a woman, understanding what you're pursuing, and she needs to have a clear understanding what the pursuit's about. Now, ladies, it's okay if you pursue a man too, just know what you're pursuing from him. I think it should go back and forth. Some women don't feel the need to pursue a man, but I think it makes it much more interesting when you do.
Mm-hmm.
But know what you're pursuing, because if that person that you're pursuing, they don't want to be chased, or they're only pursuing one thing, and that one thing is not what you're looking for. So you just wasted time and energy
on something,
on a pursuit that at the end doesn't even end the way you want it to end. So understand what the pursuit's about and what the end result is going to end up being.
So this is not to say, and I wanted to point this out specifically, like this is not to say that every time we meet somebody, the initial pursuit is exactly how it stays.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Enlighten me.
So I'm with
you, but
I may meet somebody. Say I meet a guy and I think he's really attractive and I enjoy spending time with him, but in the moment I'm not interested in a relationship. Like a committed, all in, building together, living together, that type of a relationship.
Yeah.
Maybe at that point in time, I'm just relaxing, pursuing my career a little bit more, or whatever. I'm like, me personally, I'm a single parent working at one point I was getting my master's degree, so going to school. So there's a bunch of reasons why somebody doesn't put time and energy into relationships, especially somebody who's very aware of their own capability, where they say like, I want to put a certain amount of energy into this specific thing, whatever it is. And I know that I wouldn't give other things the appropriate amount of attention. Fine. But I do think that at some point there's a change in things where you could say, okay, maybe this is somebody that I could see myself in the future with. Mm-hmm. Or maybe this is somebody that I feel like I would like to pursue something different other than just friendly conversation or enjoying time together or sleeping together, whatever the case may be. But when that changes, it goes back to that communication piece.
Yes.
So I do believe that the passion and energy that we're showing for somebody can change at some point.
Yeah.
I do believe that what we are pursuing in a relationship should be communicated clearly.
Yeah.
And I do believe that those things can change. It's important to stay like realistic.
Yeah.
And it's important to communicate those changes. And I think that sometimes that's the scariest point for somebody, is saying like, hey, we met, we like each other, we've hung out, we've slept together, we enjoy each other's company, but in the beginning, we weren't really looking for a committed relationship. Now that's changed for me.
Yeah.
Because people are afraid of like, what are you going to get back? Am I going to get back? Oh, I feel the same way?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what comes back to the pursuit part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you say, I'm pursuing just a friendship, just a hookup, or I want a relationship. I'm looking for more of a long-term committed relationship. Mm-hmm. To your point, the communication part starts in the pursuit. Could it change and switch to something different? If you wanted to go a better direction, have that conversation in the beginning. Say, hey, listen, I'm open.
Don't say better, say different.
Different. Okay, different. So think about this. In the beginning, he says, look, I don't really want a relationship right now. I just want to kind of take it easy and kind of hang out and see how it is. But if you say, hey, listen, what are you looking for? I'm open. Open leaves so much more to the interpretation of where this could go. We can just hang out. Mm-hmm. It could go a different route as things progress and we are feeling the same way and we both want a more committed relationship. It wouldn't be a surprise because we talked about it early. I'm open to the possibilities of whatever. Right now, I'm not looking to lock down, but I'm open.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think
that has to be like you being realistic with yourself.
Right.
Because some people know themselves in the sense of like being an emotional person.
Right.
You know, somebody who is easily put into a situation where they're emotionally attached, or like be honest about that. And we know, like people know if I'm dealing with somebody for a month or two, I'm ready to be in a committed relationship. Or I could deal with somebody for 6, 9, a year, and be fine with not being in a committed relationship. Be realistic about whether or not that is who you are. Now, I'm not saying that we all know that because, I've been married, I've gone through a separation. So I know personally for myself, in those moments, for me, that was years ago. But I know in those moments, you really don't know. Like, it's kind of a reset button. Yeah. I don't know how I'm going to be navigating things. But if that's the case, say that. Because I think it's so important for somebody to understand this is where I'm at in my life. This is what I'm looking for or not looking for. And I'm open to the possibility of something else, or I'm really not sure, or whatever. But if it's not something that's communicated, then everybody's left to their own devices on, I think I see this. And make sure that what you're demonstrating and what you're saying go together.
I'm with you. I like it. So we talked about a little about the men, what men want in a woman, right? Well, what a woman wants in a man. I want to say some things that what men are looking for.
I want to look at the rest of these because I'm like...
No, that's cool. We'll jump back to it. But I have to jump in for the guys, man. I got to give y'all some stuff too.
Okay, go.
So, she is family oriented.
Is that important?
Very much so. Now, I understand some families are just different, right? So the relationships there may not be stable. But you gotta think, if you're looking for a woman that you're looking to build with, she has to be family oriented because you guys may form a family together. She doesn't understand how that family dynamic works, then it may not work well for you.
It may not mesh.
Yeah. So I think her being family oriented, she spends time with the family. She makes effort to be around family. She talks to family. Some family members, they may not get along, so that's okay. But at least you know that the why. If you ever spoke to someone and say, I don't talk to that person. But why? I just don't.
So
that's a telltale sign.
So here's the thing, being on the other side of that, right? It is so important for people to feel some sense of, when you're building in a relationship, to feel some sense of integration. Right? So if you have family, friends, people that you interact with on a regular basis, and then you're dealing with this other person, that person looks for those like, hey, I'm going to my friend's house. Would you like to come? Because that says that you're integrating them into your life.
Yes.
When they're constantly separated from that is kind of a telltale sign of...
You never meet my mama.
Yeah.
You'll never meet my mama. Or my dad, or my grandpa.
Why won't he introduce me to his parents?
He's been best friends with his friend for 27 years.
And I don't know his best friend.
And I never met him.
Or you only meet people by chance.
Yeah.
Like, I happen to show up at your door and your friend happened to show up at your door too. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, hi.
And then
I've been dealing with this person for 6 months. Yeah. I've never even heard of you.
And they go, oh yeah, but he's about to leave. And he goes, or she goes, and you're like, okay.
If his friends show up and you're in his house and he doesn't introduce you, exactly.
Sorry, baby. That's not what you thought.
If he's constantly visiting family and friends and you're not invited.
So, yeah.
If none of his family or friends or siblings or cousins or know that you exist, it's a hint as to the value and intention of what that person has in store for you.
Sorry. I felt bad too.
Did you just feel bad for that?
Yeah, I did. I'm like, damn, that's kind of harsh.
Communicate that.
Yeah.
Ask a question. Now, I will say, you might get an answer that makes some sense. Maybe.
Really? What kind of answer could you give someone and say,
The only thing that I could realistically think of that is a valid reason is people who have a significant past. I think that it's much harder coming from somebody who's been married and had children. And I think it's much harder to do that another time, because if I was married to you for 10, 15 years, right? You know all my friends, all my family, all my, everything. We break up. A couple years later, I'm getting involved with somebody else. I think that time around, I'm going to be very hesitant to integrate that person easily, because you're like, damn, I just dealt 15 years of like investing this person and integrating them, and that didn't work. So I can see how that might take a longer amount of time to be just as willing to do that again. Mm-hmm. I am not saying you're in a relationship 2-3 years and you don't know nobody. That's a problem. What I am saying is, if you're dealing with somebody for 3, 6, 9 months, and most of the time at 30, 35, their family doesn't live right around the corner, there are some other factors to take into play when it comes to people who live far away or things like that. Now, if the best friend lives around the corner and y'all been dating 9 months, you don't know best friend.
There's a reason why.
I mean, and don't get it twisted. I've heard some crazy excuses too, like, oh, my friends aren't very social.
Until you meet them, and they're very social. And you're like,
my friends don't like new people.
Until you meet them, and they love you.
That's like code word for, I'm not really invested as much as you are. Or I'm not really as sure as you are.
Yeah. Or there's something else.
Or maybe my other girlfriend is meeting her.
I can't have you and her knowing the same people.
Because that's just crazy.
It's crazy.
Or maybe my other one's still involved. So I can't have both of you around all the time.
That's awkward.
Because that's just weird.
Because she knows where they live.
So just be clear about the communication. Be clear. And I'm not telling you to assume any of these things. What I'm saying is ask questions.
I'm going to give you some advice. If you really want to know if they're really into you and they're okay with people knowing y'all together, bump up their job. Just show up to the job. Bring them lunch.
You can't show up at everybody's job, though. Some people work in places you can't get into.
It's okay. Sit by the car.
You're stalkerish now.
Send something to the job. Just send it to them. Edible arrangements. Send them over. If they're into you, they wouldn't feel weirded out or nothing like that. Like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. Because now everyone knows there's somebody. Now, if they come back and like, why did you do that? What's your problem? Why would you show up here? Ah, my bad. Did I interrupt something? Like,
what about the guy you're seeing coming home with edible arrangements from somebody else? They're just friends, though.
That's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother show. All right, next one. She's kind-hearted. This is important to me because...
It's important to you. It's not important to everybody.
That the woman's kind-hearted?
It's not important to everybody.
Really? Who doesn't want a kind woman? Have you ever seen those women that would eat people alive every single moment of the day? Nobody wants that. Non-compassionate women are very, very like, it's a huge turnoff. Really? Not compassionate at all. Not kind. They're always cussing out the baggage people at the grocery store. They're yelling at people in traffic. They don't let people kids.
Some guys are like, I like a bitch.
No, and that's cool. That's for you. Most men like kind-hearted women. Like, the small things make a huge difference too for them because, you can tell that they care.
Oh, look, it goes right in with this other one you got right here.
So she's understanding and empathetic. And she empathizes with you, but don't feel sorry for you. You don't want a woman to be like feeling sorry for you.
Between empathy and sympathy, there's a big difference. Use the dictionary.
Please.
There's a big difference. I'm not going to feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
But I could say, I understand where you're coming from.
anytime a guy says something to you that can be taken very, very serious, or something that's you may not clearly understand, but you want to know, like you're searching for understanding. I think that's what this really comes into as well, and understand that you have to be empathetic to that situation. So something may be very touchy to a guy. They don't want to talk about a deceased loved one, or they don't want to talk about their past, or they don't want to talk about certain things that bring up emotion with them. You have to be empathetic to that. If you're not, then it's like she doesn't even care.
And that goes back to like showing compassion and being able to like meet people where they are. If I meet you and that's the type of person, everyone's not going to be as emotional or as understanding or compassionate as I am.
Right.
But that has to be an understanding you come to about what this person is willing to express and where they are in terms of in their life and their experiences and what they're able to express to you or to others. It's a matter of getting to know somebody. Yeah. And knowing that what they're giving you is like the authentic version. Exactly.
Being supportive of that and encouraging towards them as well. So understanding they're on a path to something, and it can get hard.
So now, I'm looking at my list and your list, and the next one.
Is it kind of together?
And the next one on my list.
It's ambition, and mine's ambition too.
Yes.
So right there, kind of like together.
And that's why I was looking at some of them, and I was like, some of the attributes are very similar. But I do believe that somebody has to be ambitious.
Can I just tell you, the weight of my heart, I love ambitious women. If you're ambitious, boy, that just does something to me.
It's sexy.
It is so sexy.
It is sexy.
Now, ambition and then the fact that you just want to do something is different. Ambition is like a fire you can see in a person that is like you
when always... When they talk about something, you're like...
Yeah, it's like, that's passion. Ambition is they're going to just go for it. And you can just look at them and say, what's on your mind? What are you thinking about?
She's really going to do it.
My God. And then she actually does it. It's like, oh man, I don't know if I ever looked at you like this before, but wait till I get you home. Because that ambition right there, oh man, not too many people do that, but you?
I love an ambitious man.
Yeah, you got to.
It's important. It's important to know that somebody is going to, like, they're down for whatever. Like, yeah. And not whatever in a stupid way. Don't take that wrong.
Sometimes. Gotta try it. Never know.
But somebody that's ambitious in a way that, you know, baby, we're going to build this business. And we're going to build this together and it's going to be amazing. Yeah. And we ain't got nothing right now, but we're going to do it together. That's sexy.
Oh.
It sounds crazy, but it's sexy.
Let me tell you.
It really is.
And understanding that there's risk involved, but however, we got each other. Mm-hmm. We got this ambition, this passion, this drive.
This investment
of us.
We are building.
We are making this thing happen. Ambition is one of those things you can't even train somebody to have. It is an ability that you have inside of yourself based off of your experiences in life and the things that you could do and you could not do. And the fact that you would try and do it and push for it, don't take no for an answer, and push until it's done. Oh my God. Listen, some guys don't want their women to be that strong or have that sense of like push. But I'm like, push me, baby.
Look at my next one.
Push me, baby. Push me.
My next one is confidence.
Push me.
Confidence.
Be confident pushing me. Like, you gotta be confident.
My next one is confident.
All right.
You don't have
it's kind of like confidence, but she's consistent.
Yeah, mine has confidence. And I thought that went so perfect with ambition right before it, because if you are ambitious and you're confident about your crazy ambitiousness.
Let me tell you something. Oh,
I might need a break.
I'm about to start sweating in here. Let me tell you, a confident woman. Oh, she walk in that room, you be like.
So I'm gonna give you a good woman perspective about this, though. Men, stop getting a woman that is ambitious, confident, passionate, and breaking her down to nothing. Stop doing that.
It happens.
It does. Because it can be intimidating for some men. And I think that once they get her and they know they got her, they're like, I don't like this. It's too much. I gotta change.
It can't be, because if you're not that same type of person, then yeah, it's not going to be a turn on for
Stop
you.
doing. If she's too much for you, let her go.
You want her because everyone else do.
If she's too much for you, let her go.
Stop.
Let her go.
Yeah.
Be a man and just say, you know what?
Too much for me.
Too much for me.
I'm okay.
And I can't handle this. Like, leave her alone.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're taking something that could be amazing and you're breaking it down. And unfortunately, women, when they love and they're in it, they don't even see it coming.
Nope. And they just ride along with it because it's like, but I love him. I know you do, baby.
I'm gonna need you to let that go.
You won't have to let that go. Only because you can't grow. It's like
he's sucking up your greatness.
But it happens to men too.
Yeah.
Where the men sometimes will dumb themselves down because I love you. I don't want you to feel like.
Or she don't like you being a superstar.
Yeah, it's like.
She don't like all that confidence. She don't like all that attention you get.
Because confidence, passion, ambition draws people in. And if you're insecure and your man or your woman's around all these other people that share the same passion and ambition, and you're looking like, what do? I don't know what to do here. It looks a little weird for you, but they love you. They just know that's not you. But then you start to break them down. I don't want you to go here. I don't want you to go there. I don't want you to be with this person, be around that person. It's like, so confidence in a man.
Or woman.
So I say for a man, confidence level, is it, some people take confidence as being arrogant. What's the difference?
I think it depends on the person. A lot of this is, a lot of these are general characteristics of people, but you have to always keep in mind that it has to be what suits you, right? I love a confident man, but I want you to be mindful of the fact that you are dealing with somebody.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I could be a confident woman. Some people are naturally flirtatious. I could deal with that. I don't have a problem with a man dealing with his baby moms or talking to his ex-wife on the phone, being in a friendship with a female. Be respectful of the fact that you are dealing with a woman, that you are involved in a relationship or you're in a committed relationship. Be respectful of those things. Don't make certain comments that look like you are soliciting a relationship. Or, don't make certain comments that are sexually suggestive and create extra attention in a different way.
But that's not confidence. Confidence to me is like, you know what you're talking about.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying that sometimes people take that and use it
as a flirtation
and
device.
use it, or it's naturally their character to be flirtatious because they are confident. It's like an attribute that's developed over time because you're just a confident person, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because and sometimes in some professional settings, like even this, we have to be confident to a certain degree.
Yeah.
So you interact with people, you have a certain charm to you, you have a certain aura about you that when people interact with you, you would hope that they gravitate towards you because you want them to watch, you want them to listen, you want them to be invested, you want them to want to be invested. So yeah, there's something that comes with that. But at the same time, be mindful of other relationships that you have and what's respectful of those relationships.
I respect that. But I will say, I think I'm looking at confidence in a different manner, a little bit too, because confidence is that you know who you are, what you want, you know what you're talking about when you walk in a situation. When you can walk in a room with confidence because you know that, hey, I know I look good. I know that the space I'm in, I'm confident and comfortable in here. A confident man also can walk in a situation and lose some of that confidence because you have no idea. But you're confident enough to know, I'm only going to talk about the things that I do know.
I was just going to say, because I think you could be confident in very specific things.
Yeah. So I'm only going to talk about the things that I know. I'm only going to do the things that I'm comfortable with and confident in. And if I have to do something outside of that, I'm still going to do it with confidence. even if I fail.
I think that could go back and forth, because if somebody gives me a topic and says, "Hey, I need you to come talk about this."
Right.
If it's a topic that I know, then I'm cool with that, and I'm confident in the subject matter.
Yeah.
Right? But if somebody says, "Man, I need you to come talk about this," and it's something I know absolutely nothing about, there's no confidence.
Yeah.
I'm gonna spend the next week studying. I'm gonna go in there, my stomach's gonna be hurting, I'm gonna have a headache, I'm gonna be so nervous, because I know that I'm not the subject matter expert in whatever it is that I'm talking about.
I feel you.
And of course, that's my own insecurities, like being afraid of somebody looking at me going, "She don't know what the hell." And that comes with being confident too, but it depends on the subject matter, or it depends on something very specific. For me, some people are just naturally confident and they don't care. They're like, it doesn't matter what it is, because that's me across the board.
Yeah.
And it really depends on the person.
No, I can respect that. But some people can walk in those situations like, look, I'm just gonna shoot from the hip.
Mm-hmm.
I'm confident enough to know that I'm articulate, so I know that whatever I say is going to come off sounding great.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I won't go in depth. Like in certain conversations, people will ask me to be in, and I'm like, sure. And I'll listen in for key things that I know.
Mm-hmm.
Every topic that people talk about, at least something within that, or heard something within that. Don't be so overconfident where you start to jump in and start adding to every single thing.
Mm-hmm.
But to be able to get in a conversation with someone, or even in a group of females where guys, I've ended up in a situation where I'm in a circle with just females, and I'm listening to get information, and there's valuable things I can add to the conversation, where it's like, oh, that's just your perspective and you're fluent in that because you've dealt with that.
Yeah.
And you can speak in confidence with that. So I think confidence in a man and a woman is very attractive on both ends. And I think for a man that sees a confident woman, you have to have enough confidence in yourself to approach her and to accept that, because she's not going to stop.
Exactly.
A confident woman, she's going to walk in the room with those heels on, and she's going to take over. You understand me? And you have to be okay with that. You can't be intimidated.
So I think last week when we had a room full of people and everybody was kind of throwing their opinions in the hat, right? It came down to people wanting very specific things for themselves. And at the end of the day, it's really about knowing who you are, knowing how to communicate what you want in that moment, and expressing, this is the stage of life I'm in, this is what I'm expecting from a relationship that I'm involved in, and understanding that it is okay to say, this is what I'm willing to give and this is what I'm not willing to give right now. I don't think anybody will always have a concrete answer on what men or what women want, because we're all so different. People are individuals, and it's a case-by-case basis. And what works for you may not work for me.
Absolutely.
But no better to be able to verbalize that and be able to say, you're not what I want right now.
Yeah.
And we know if it may or may not get there. I could look at somebody I'm dealing with and know this is possibly somebody I can invest a lot of time in and stay with long term, or this is definitely not that.
Yeah.
Be honest about that. And it's okay. Yeah, you may lose that one, but there's what did we say? A few million, billion more.
There's 7 billion people.
Because we talked about that last week.
Yeah.
Didn't we? We talked about taking people in and out of the pool.
That's crazy too.
And it's tough. It's like we did, because I think Casey said that right. She was like,
she eliminated half of them.
They're like, gay, kids, no kids, married, baby mama drama, and women, same thing. Come on, just be honest about what you want, what you're willing to deal with. I might be willing to deal with some of your crazy.
Just a little bit.
I might be willing to deal with some of your crazy.
Just a little bit.
Don't lie about it. Because if you lie about it, now you're a liar.
And you're crazy.
And you got some crazy.
So that's not going to work.
You just got to be honest. I think the most important thing is just being who you are, and stop introducing your representative before somebody actually meets you.
The main person who you are is the coolest version.
Yeah, I don't want to meet
I
your
like that.
representative.
Mm-mm.
I'm so tired of meeting representatives.
But, sorry, it's Bob.
And I'll be good to you for 3-4 months.
Yeah.
After that,
My name is-
you get the real deal, and then you're like, who
are you? Who sent you?
You weren't doing that 2 months ago.
Mm-mm.
You were so nice.
You ironed all your clothes.
You used to buy me flowers,
You used to call me. Like,
right?
what happened?
We used to go on dates.
Yeah. You used to
Where-
brush your hair. What happened to
You used to
that?
brush your teeth. You used to take showers.
Yeah.
Come on.
And,
They'd be like, babe, I got a different job.
and listen, this is to relax me. How many versions are you?
It's because I'm so comfortable.
Yeah, you know,
It's
you
because
should accept me the way I am.
don't be trying to change me. I'm just trying to change the fact that you wear your work clothes in my bed. No outside clothes.
It's a fact.
Come on, guys.
It's a fact.
And girls. I'm not even gonna say it's not guys, because women do the same
Oh,
crazy
yeah.
stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Women do some crazy stuff. Like I
Did
met
you?
I met you with a whole wig, weave
Yeah.
all the way down to your
Did
waist,
you?
some green
What
eyes,
happened?
and
You took your hips off. What happened?
because you ain't know them Spanx had fillers. And the bra had stuffing.
Oh,
The
boy.
Spanx had fillers. There were heels. You couldn't see the bunions. Like, come on, just be you. And be you early on.
If you're going to be that way starting out. And they'll be like, I can deal with that.
Like
Or-
first date, you don't have to be like, this is a whole wig and I don't have hair. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
But, just
Just let me know that, the edges are gone. I'm cool with that. Well, we're about at the end of the show. And to Amanda's point is, we never know what men or women want. It's the individual that you have to worry about. So as you're searching through your feed, looking for information, not just from us, from other people, understand what works for you, and what works for them, and go with that part of it.
and if they're not sure about you, you damn sure don't need to be sure about them.
Check. Make sure you leave a comment and write down below. Follow us on all our social media platforms on Morning Coffee and on Instagram at Morning Coffee as well. Facebook Morning Coffee. Follow me on Instagram at P Hakeem. And
What is it? Unmatched _ unapologetic.
something like that. It's down here somewhere. I'm Prince Hakeem.
I'm Amanda Love.
And until next time, we'll see you then.